Hi friends, welcome to the February 2021 Real Estate Market Report. If you caught my last video of the market report, it was for January. But even though I said it's for January, it was actually looking at the Real Estate Market Report for the month of December. And so we are in February, so we have to look back 1 month in the month of January. With that said, we'll make it a quick market report, and then we'll get into the fun part if you want to stick around, because we'll make another tiki drink here in my tiki bar called Scoot's Tiki Bar. Yes, my wife wanted to make a note that she was the one who started calling me Scoots as a nickname. I don't know when that started, but now it's become a tiki bar. Okay, let's just get on to the market report. If we look at the major cities along the West Coast, we'll start with Seattle, which has a medium home sales price of $740,000. That is a 5.7% increase over last year. If we come down the West Coast, we'll stop at Portland, which has a median home price of $489,000, which is a 13.4% increase over last year. Then we move down to California and stop at San Francisco, which has a median home sales price of $1,275,000, which is a minus 2.1% from last year. Then if we look at Los Angeles, it has a median sales price of $820,000, which is a 11% increase from last year. And then all the way down to the bottom, California, which is San Diego, we have a median home sales price of $684,000, which is a 12.3% increase from last year. As you can see, Portland still has the most affordable of all the major cities along the West Coast, in case you're looking to come this way, or in case you want to know how you compare to all the other big cities along the West Coast. But let's zero in on some specifics of the Portland area. If you look at the MLS activity stats here in Portland, you can see by price range how long they stay on the market. For instance, if we take a look at homes that are being sold between $401,000 to $450,000, and we scroll all the way over to the right side, in the category of inventory in months, it says that it's only 0.5 months of inventory. Again, inventory in months simply means that if no other homes come on the market, then it would take about 0.5 months, half a month, 2 weeks, to essentially deplete all the inventory that's in the market. A healthy market that's good for buyers and sellers has always been traditionally about 6 months. And if you look at this chart again, we are nowhere near 6 months. So yes, it is a very unusual hot market that homes are just going in a weekend. So if you're a buyer in this market, you have to be ready to compete. And I'm doing my best to help my clients compete. And we're getting close, but my goodness, we are seeing some ridiculous offers that are beating us out, offering $50,000 over, $100,000 over. They're waiving all sorts of contingencies, which is not necessarily always the best thing, and there's other ways to protect yourself. So it's getting a little crazy. So there's this feeling that, is this like a next bubble or something? It's hard to say because right now the demand is so high, but the inventory is so low that even if there's some cases that happen with people that are asking for forbearance on their mortgage, the valuations of all these homes are so high that even if they try to foreclose it, most likely a home seller that's behind in their mortgage payments, the market's so good they could just turn around and sell it where they might make $50,000, $100,000, even though they can't afford the mortgage payments. So that's maybe what we might see coming on the marketplace here and over the next year. It's unlikely that we'll see another 2008 marketing or economic crash. But then again, every time we think we know something, we don't know something. So that's our best educated guess. So with that said, if you have any questions, please give me a call. You have all my information below. And let's get on to the fun part, which is let's make a tiki drink. So before we get into making the next tiki drink, I want to let you know that a lot of us up here in Portland are dealing with the ice storm that came through here in mid-February. And we thought it would just be a little bit of snow, but it turned into be just like a frozen tundra, and it just affected everything. So as the ice got accumulated on all our treetops, all these trees just fell everywhere, just crashed, broke, fell on neighbors' roofs, through the roofs on cars, but most alarming, just it crashed on all these power lines. So we were actually without power for about a week, And we're watching all over the devastation in our little town of West Lynn and in our neighboring towns as well. And it looks like essentially like a tornado just ripped through this town. And there's so many downed trees and the power lines down. So we got pretty creative in trying to stay warm in our house. We were lucky to have a gas stove so we can cook. My mom has a electric stove, so she was unable to cook on her stove. And then we were lucky to have a gas fireplace, so they didn't, require electricity. So we did our best to hover around the fireplace, but we could never get the house or that area above maybe 54 degrees in the house, 55 degrees. But then we found this little trick that if we use those emergency foil blankets, those space blankets, and we start taping them around the room to basically control the heat. Once we did that, oh my goodness, our temperature rose to about 10, 12 degrees. So we were able to get that area toasty around 67 degrees, and it was amazing. Our cat was so cold earlier throughout the first 2 days of the shutdown, but then we got the house warmed up, and she was happy as a clam. Then I went over to my mom's the next day and got her some more of those foil blankets, emergency foil blankets, and got her area wrapped up. And again, it was amazing, just the level of heat that retains in the house when you use that. So if this ever happens to you and you find yourself, in an emergency, I know some people out in, Texas are really suffering. Not nearly as, we didn't get it nearly as bad, but it was cold, and there are some neighbors around us in the certain areas are still without power well over a week, and they're doing their best to stay warm. So trying to get this information out, let people know, hey, if you can have an opportunity to use these foil blankets, they really do control the heat. So yes, we got through that. So with that said, I was just happy to get my tiki room back in place and get my short sleeve on, get warm in here, and now we can make the next tiki drink. And I got to think of what we're going to make. I think we're going to make something called the Captain's Log. It's an original, actually it's like a variation off another drink, but I'll explain to you as I pause and try to figure out what I'm going to say next. But let's do it. Captain's Log. Here we go. So this is a play on an original recipe by Jeff Beachbum Berry, who's the author of The Grog Log and Sippin' Safari, and essentially a very pivotal figure in the tiki scene who's preserved and did all this research in finding all these original tiki recipes from the heydays of the 30s and 40s, the 50s and 60s and so on. So he was an event that was sponsored by Captain Morgan's Rum and Spice Rum. And so he made this particular drink. And I don't have any Captain Morgan's Rum. I have something a little bit more of a kick. And it calls for normally white grapefruit juice. And I think I'm going to use a red ruby grapefruit instead. And then we use, this is my wife's Captain Picard Star Trek tiki mug. So we'll just call this drink, instead of the original drink is called Captain Varna's Grog. So it's a grog style drink. We're just gonna call it the Captain's Log. Okay, well let's get started. First thing we need is our tin shaker, and we're gonna put some ice in that to get us started. Just to kind of cool a little bit. I think real bartenders like, what are you doing? You put the ice in last. You don't want to dilute the drink when you get started. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I'm just getting the tin, cool down here. So the first thing we're gonna grab is some spice rum. And I'm gonna be using Sailor Jerry, which is a really nice spice rum I use for like rum and cokes and so on, but this has got a little bit more kick than your Captain Morgan's. Normally I think it's like 2.5 ounces of rum or Captain Morgan's rum, but since it's so strong, I'm just gonna go 2 ounces. Get it on my fingers. By the way, it's like the middle of the day too, but it is Friday, so you could start drinking early, right? As I was saying, the original recipe calls for white grapefruit juice, which I have, but since it's, the Captain Picard, his red shirt, might as well start with a red grapefruit. So we're gonna use this to squeeze this grapefruit in here. We only need a half an ounce of that. Half an ounce of red grapefruit juice. Calls for 3/4 ounce of fresh lime juice. Got a lime here. I guess gotta reuse the lime husk, so we're going to push that back in, make a little island out of it. 3/4 lime juice. Then we've got 3/4 ounce of Demerara syrup. Is it Demerara or Demerara syrup? And it's fun. This is BG Reynolds, and I had no idea that BG Reynolds is bottled and produced and shipped right out here in Milwaukee, Oregon, just over the side of the other side of the river here. And I used to just order this stuff thinking it came from someplace, you know, it's chanted and mystical. Little did I know it came from Milwaukee, Oregon. Some great stuff, BG Reynolds. Then is 1 dash of the Angostura bitters. I probably just messed that up. Angostura. Come on, help me out. Is Angostura? Angostura? It's just 1 dash. 1 dash is like a bump, and that's it. All right. Add some more ice. Shake it up. Pour it into our Captain Picard's mug, and you pour it unstrained. Add some more ice. We've got 1 long straw. Add our crushed lime wedge. And it normally calls for like a cinnamon stick that goes into it, but we're just doing a little bit of sprinkle of cinnamon. Well, there you have it. It's the Captain's Log here at Scoot's Tiki Bar. You know, good old Captain Picard. And this is based on Jeff Beachbum's berry Captain Vardner's grog. I can't pronounce the name of the captain. It's like Vadner's grog. Anyway, middle of the day, tiki drinks. Oh, that's good. Problem with tiki drinks, they're only like that big, but they're full of just rum, and they can knock you out if you're not careful. Thanks for tuning in for this episode. Again, if you have any questions about the real estate market, let me know, or tiki drinks, let me know. And when things open up, hopefully soon, you know, next few months, I get friends and, you know, maybe not family, just friends. No, just kidding. They can come visit me here at the Tiki Bar. All right. Thanks, friends. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.